Right, but we got to go in slow motion. Ready? We got to go in slow motion.
Go on.
Ready? Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday morning show. Good morning, Lester.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, everybody.
How are we today?
Very good, thank you.
It's October, and we all know
big month.
We all know what happens in October.
We do, yeah.
It's always someone's birthday in October.
There is, and the leaves fall from the trees, and the weather turns for the worse, and we get a bit of rain, and the temperature drops.
The colour on the trees also changes.
And you're officially past it.
Officially going over the top of the hill,
Gone.
Just literally at the crest of the hill at the moment, and then gone over the other side.
To be fair, you've been prepared and ready for this moment for about 15 years.
Well, I didn't think you were going to go that far back, but I thought you were going to go back like 6 months or something, and I'm going to say, well, actually, because you haven't stopped mentioning it for the last 6 months.
You're going to catch me up.
I'll never catch you up.
You will. You'll be in the same decade as I'm in.
I'll always be a year behind you. Well, this week on the show, Bernie, been a busy week. Been a busy week.
Yeah.
Filming bits and pieces.
It has, yeah.
As always, and rightly so. That's the best way to be.
At the moment as well, we're not much in advance. So what you're seeing now is filmed literally within the last 7 to 10 days. So
it's literally.
I can remember the stuff
that's coming
out. Whereas sometimes we can be 2-3 months behind as such, or filmed 2-3 months ago and then coming out. So I have to watch it to see what happened. But no, I can remember all this stuff because it was only last week.
So this week, obviously, we've been in someone's back garden, which, I mean, the people in the comments are right. You know, someone's back garden is a bit of a...
exaggeration.
Because actually it's a big field that they have got in their back garden, or next to their back garden, which was an amazing little short course. And there's lots of people out there that were sort of saying, you know, how much synthetic materials have come on. One comment that I read, which was about actually like recycled plastic synthetics. You know, imagine that one day that you have a golf course that's a recycled golf course. Do you know what I mean? Like, how cool would that be? Like, that's pretty cool, isn't it? You know, you make the most out of waste and stuff like that. What a brilliant little idea that would be. Yeah,
100%. There's so much scope of it as well, isn't there, for various different avenues to go down, not just golf courses, but, you know, practice facilities and all sorts, isn't it, for golf clubs?
Well, one of the things that I'm certainly going to look at, and at some stage, is like my back garden eventually. You know,
I don't think you'll get 6 holes in there.
I'm not going to get 6 holes in there, no, but I might be able to get 1 hole in there in a small little area that I could chip onto and things like that. Because as much as I enjoy a little bit of gardening and cutting the grass...
No, you don't.
No, I don't. So actually, but I've always been held off a little bit, purely because the materials out there and the greens that I've been on in people's back gardens in the past they've been really fast, really hard underneath, and chipping onto it gives you no reaction like a green. Putting on it gives you no reaction like a normal green. No. So I don't feel like I was, you know, if I was going to put one in, I'd want to do some filming with it. Yeah. I'd want it to react like a proper golf course, whereas historically they just haven't.
They just haven't, no. No, the advancement in that, what we played on the surface, compared to even 2-3 years ago is just night and day, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
If you watch the second part, I think hole 5.
That shot you hit.
I hit it from 170 yards.
Yeah.
And it held on the green, didn't it? It landed on the green and
just spun in like you would expect it to hit. You hit a little fade in there, and it's actually spun and kind of spun right as it's gone down the slope,
which was good to see, really, wasn't it? So it's brilliant. That's the only criticism I'd have of his particular golf courses. The greens were a little bit small for 170 yard shots.
Yeah.
I would want a bigger surface. Yeah. I mean, but obviously cost and
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but eventually, hopefully, the greens will be similar size to what you'd expect from a golf.
But I do expect to see more short game areas at golf clubs set up like this. Like if you go to Exeter Golf and Country Club, which is just up the road from us here. I mean, their new facility that they put in at the driving range, they have that pitching green and everything, and bunkers actually that come out onto it. You can putt onto it. I expect to see a lot more of that with golf clubs, just from a cost saving.
Yeah, definitely. There's relatively small maintenance. You've only got to brush the sand or brush some material around, haven't you, rather than cutting and trying to maintain it.
Yeah.
Plus, it just doesn't wear, does it? And you can use it all year round.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. So that brings us on to this week, Bernie.
Yep.
We've had another little busy week filming at Torquay.
Yeah, so stayed local, did a little bit of a social experiment. Or is it a social experiment? It's an experiment, isn't it? A golfing experiment.
A golfing experiment.
So yeah, I was going to play Jordan in the match, but Jordan's been a little bit under the weather.
Yeah.
I've hurt my toe, which is okay now. But
I thought it was a football injury. It's not.
No.
Dropped a box on it.
I was trying to clear out the garage. My dad was a bit of a hoarder, and he didn't throw anything away and just threw everything in the garage. So me and Mum were sorting the garage out, and unfortunately, I thought she was holding one side of a
box,
and she wasn't. So it landed on my foot. Yeah,
Lovely.
I just completely stopped clearing out the garage. That just got a bit of a temper. Shut the garage door and went into the house.
Cut.
But it's all right now, so it's nothing too serious.
Recovered. So we ended up on the golf course here at Torquay, and I wanted it because this is going to come out the week that we actually finish at Torquay, which is in a couple of weeks' time. And we ended up doing myself and Will having a match, and it's quite a cool little match in some ways. Certainly answers a few questions to me. But we were I was trying to get involved, play a match against Will where I used his power, and he had to play against me with my power. Yeah. So I'm moving my golf ball forward fractionally, he's bringing his back, and then we're playing this match play situation against each other, which is it's a good vlog. It's interesting. It was a bit breezy on the day, and Wilbur went straight into like, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah,
I'm going to beat you, man.
He wasn't bothered where the cameras were or even picking cameras up, was he? He was completely goal-focused.
Going to dominate Mr. Hendriksen. Dominating.
We may have to get him out of that mindset if he's going to come back filming more regularly over the winter. Because he was totally focused on his golf, wasn't he?
He's just still in tournament mode, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that's good, and it was great to play against him. And you will absolutely, I think you'll enjoy that video. It's always good fun when Will was on the channel. So, yeah, it was good. And then one thing that I do want to discuss, this week, is the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it last week because we hadn't even watched it.
Hadn't started.
So this week I do want to talk about it. And obviously it was a bit of a pounding.
I think it was the worst defeat we've had for a number of years, wasn't it?
Well, that's the biggest defeat ever, or biggest win ever.
Yeah.
19-9.
They were so dominant from sort of the first tee shot right the way to conclusion. All their players were more or less every one of them was in form, and almost raised their game. Even the guys that weren't playing as well as they'd hoped, were still managing to produce shots and dovetail, and it was impressive to watch. They were a lot younger age-wise in our team. That was one noticeable factor, I thought, because you're playing potentially 5 rounds of golf in 3 days, which they're not really used to as a professional. You probably play no 36-hole events, do you?
Not anymore. Definitely not.
So I think maybe a bit of fitness as well might have come into play. And we had quite a few out-of-form players, didn't we?
I honestly think that from what I saw of it, so I saw more of the highlights in Fridays and Saturday, and then on Sunday I watched pretty much most of from about the 5th hole onwards, maybe something like that. And from what I could see, I think the crowd played the biggest part in that Ryder Cup, more so than probably maybe we had that a little bit when we were at the Golf National.
I think that makes a difference now with home advantage in the last 4 or 5 Ryder Cups. It's become more. The crowd's become more vocal and more partisan. It helped us in France raise our game. There was literally no European support there at all. Was there? Very few. They weren't allowed in there. So it was a 99% American-driven supporting crowd, wasn't it?
Yeah. So. And what I saw, and again, please comment on this because we'd like to hear what you have to say about it. And I'm not saying here that it was, that the crowd were bad or anything along those lines. I just think that they were loud, they were vocal, they were very quiet towards our players, even with really good shots that guys played. There wasn't a lot of clapping and there wasn't a lot of cheering, which which I would say that, and you'd ask any American, people always in the UK and certainly around Europe, I would say in the Ryder Cup, that they're very appreciative of good golf. Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
So, when there was shots that were played, there was a little bit of that. But I'm not saying that was a negative. I just think that was what it was. But our players, I think about Tommy Fleetwood, I think about even Sergio Garcia, I think about Matthew Fitzpatrick. Their heads were down the whole time, like especially Tommy Fleetwood, they weren't. It's like they didn't want to come up out of the parapet and show themselves. It was only really that Shane Lowry really got fired up one day, didn't he, when he holed a couple of putts in? And,
do you think
really
that it's hard to react like that when your team's getting a pounding, as such? Not like they're hiding from it, but if it's close, then you could probably give a bit back. But if you're getting hammered. Like if you're playing football and you're 7-0 down and someone in the crowd gives you a bit of abuse, you can say something back, but you've got no real answer for you because you're 7-0 down. Possibly, I don't know. Possibly.
Plus,
our golf would have silenced the crowd, maybe.
Yeah, it would have come down to each individual and their situation and what they were feeling right there and then. And I just think that to me that was the biggest thing that I noticed that was different about it, was that the players that we had were very quiet and they were very reserved.
Do you think that would then, for me, that would motivate me against them, because I'd be thinking, they look beat. Maybe they were given the impression they were beat already, but do you know what the scariest thing for me is?
Go on.
That the strength and depth of that and the age of that team, plus it was missing players who potentially could be on the next Ryder Cup team, like your Matt Wolfs and people like that who are coming through, the new breed. Whereas I know there's some good European golfers coming through, but they're not at that level of the guys that are just, like if you pick the next 12 players on the tours or the next 12 Europeans, I think it'd be a similar result. I think their strength and depth is a lot stronger than ours.
Yeah, I believe that in match play, anyone can beat anybody in match play. If you put those guys up against, like I think about Wiesberger playing against Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
Other than the shot that Brooks hit into 17, which he...
I know you're going to say, he just out-putted him.
Massively. Like tee to green, I think Wiesberger, and not that we saw a great deal of footage of him, of that match, but it looked like to me that there was a lot of hold putts by Wiesberger from 4 foot and 3 foot and 5 foot for the half when Brooks has binned one from 25, 40 foot away. Yeah. There was a lot of that going on, and I think that, to be honest with you, I think that our players on any given day could beat those guys at different situations.
I'm not convinced.
And that's the difference, and that's what's great about it. Is there's going to be a difference of opinion even between us, and there'll be a difference of opinion between.
I think we could win the odd individual matches like we did, but because there's so many matches taking place, then their strength and depth is so. Like you look at when you bracket them up, you think, Ram and Sergio, really good team, got a really good chance against even their best players like Spieth and JT. I think they beat them one of the days, didn't they? But then when you start to go down, you go, no disrespect to Lee Westwood, Matt Fitzpatrick playing against two of the Americans, I think, they're up against it straight away.
But you think about Lee Westwood, won his singles. Yeah. Okay. Ian Poulter won his singles, and Rory McIlroy won his singles. They've not featured really in any of the matches leading up to the singles.
Well, they didn't win a point in anything else, did they?
So, but then you take John Ram, loses his singles. Sergio Garcia loses his singles. These are the guys that are performing. I just think it all comes down to, Paul Casey up against Johnson, okay? Well, Johnson's had 9 birdies. He's had 9 birdies against Paul Casey and Paul Casey's taken him to the 17th. Paul Casey's played some really good golf against him and just got beaten. Yeah. You put Paul Casey up against one of the other players in that thing, and they're going to probably beat him. If you put Wiesberger against another guy in that American team, they're going to beat them. I just think that, I know what you're saying, but I think having that advantage of home soil with that crowd at that time was a massive.
I totally get what you're saying, but I'm saying that we might have so if you pick the American side and then you pick you're right. You can swap a few players for players.
Yeah.
Then you'd probably only on that performance you'd take Ram, wouldn't you? You'd probably take Sergio maybe over one of the lesser Americans. Maybe there's probably only 3 players that would get in from the Europeans that would get into the American Ryder Cup team at the moment. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, but you
looking on world rankings.
Yeah, but you also look back over the years where we have dominated for a period of time. You would say that some of the American, I mean, you had amazing American teams that got beaten.
Well, I just think this one's got such strength in depth.
I completely agree. Like my view is
and
that they're all as good as each other on their day.
To me, you just didn't just have bombers. Like you didn't just have, Bryson who's bombing it. You had the guy that won the Open Championship, Molinari.
Yeah.
Not Molinari. What's his name? Morikawa.
Morikawa.
I can't even say his name. I mean, he's the best. One of the best iron players.
Oh, well, he is.
He just hits. He just literally knocks flags out with iron.
And it was phenomenal to watch.
And then you got some brilliant. You got people who just putt. You got a bit of everything in that to me in that team, rather than, and they seem to. I don't know. They seem to bond better as a team than they normally do.
Yeah. Again, they said that as well.
Because that was made. We made so much of the fact that we were a better team. They're better players, but they seem to have a good. I know there's a few that don't like each other, but they still seem to bond well. And the captain, to me, the Stricker got the right pairings and got the right combinations, whereas it's always easy to say it once you've lost, but some of Harrington's decisions were a little bit questionable. Like, why would you drop Garcia for the 4 balls after in the Friday 4 balls after he's played so well in the foursomes? Like, keep him and Rahm together. Like, I didn't understand. I know he's trying to get different people in and stuff, but I just felt that was, you've got a good pair there. Play them the whole way through. Yeah. They're comfortable together. They play well together. They speak the same language. Both Spanish. Probably hang around a bit together as well. Like, play them together.
I think you could discuss it all day long.
We just have,
and which we've taken up everyone's Sunday. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, we've all got our own opinions on what actually happened in that event. I don't think anybody's right or wrong in what they say. I think it will just come down to the facts of the matter are, when it comes down to golf and match play, anyone can beat anyone on their day. That's the beauty of match play.
I suppose they've now got the motivation of when it's in Italy and couple of years' time that we've got to reverse the fortune and turn it around, because if we get another hammer in, then there'll be people saying, oh well, we're not strong enough, it needs to be the rest of the world, rest of America. Yeah, well,
but I do see the crowd in Italy maybe getting a little fired up now.
Let's hope we're there, because we'll be fired up, won't we?
He'll be fired up.
I'll just shout some stuff at people.
Well, I think we've ranted on enough about the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
This week coming, so tomorrow, we've got our first part at the Kerno course at St Mellion.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to watching that, because I've never played there.
You've never played Kerno course?
No, never.
And you were in the shop that day?
I was, yeah.
So there is myself, Wilbur and Paul having a proper little ding-dong out on the course on the Kerno course at St Mellion, which is a lovely golf course, and if you've ever played it, then it's definitely worth one to have a little go at. So that should be fun. And then this week we're away filming.
We are, yeah.
We're away Monday, we're away Tuesday. And then we've probably got to get some work done in the shop on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Then I'm done on the Friday.
And then that's you finished.
That's me done, yeah.
You have officially retired.
Exactly, yeah. Semi-retired.
Semi-retired. One thing that I do want to mention, we are going to be away next weekend. We're going to be away at our Bowood trip.
Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday, yep. So Sunday, Monday, we will be away on our Bowood trip. So again, last minute, if any of you want to come along, just give us a quick shout. We've got a couple of more slots at the end. Which we could probably get you into. So, I think we've ranted.
We've ranted, yeah.
We've ranted a lot this week. Are you ready to finish the show? Are you happy to finish the show? Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Obviously, have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.